I'm Sarah Kuhn. I write a blog called INFJ Woman, and I host a podcast called The Quiet Ones. I'm on a mission to help you become the best version of yourself, to be wholly and unapologetically you, to be you. Every week on my Instagram stories, I take questions about INFJs or self-acceptance, self-love, anything that you want to ask me a question about. In this video, you're going to see a collection of random questions that are the best ones from this week. If you have a question that you'd like to ask me, you can submit it through the comments below this video, and I will answer it in a future video and link the video back to you so that you can see it. Anxiety is kind of tricky. I have anxiety myself, and there are a few things that play into it. What you eat affects how you think. And the next thing is ask yourself, the things that you're thinking, are they really true? Can you be sure that they're true? I have been working with a health coach recently on cycle syncing, and I know it sounds really strange, but I'm telling you, I am proof that it's true and it works. Your motivation is dictated by your hormones. It is interesting that some posts say that. I don't think of myself as being magical, but maybe to people who can't really predict the future like we can, or to people who don't have such a strong intuition like we can, or like we do, probably. Ooh, that one's difficult. I would say find ways to take breaks and take advantage of those breaks, get away from the office, and then spend extra time recharging nights and weekends. I hate that feeling too. I really think it's rooted in trying to impress people, and I've decided recently that I'm not trying to impress people anymore, and I feel a lot lighter with that decision. So maybe try that. There isn't one particular zodiac sign that is INFJ. When I did a quiz about them for everyone in my Instagram page, it came up with an even distribution. So any personality type. How do you trigger it on? My deep conversation mode is always on. So maybe just ask them a question. Ask them, what do you think about the meaning of life? Or something like that. Yes, I have a couple of INFJ friends who are married to INFPs, and they say that it works out really, really well. Also, my niece is an INTP, and we have a really good relationship. There are some things that you have to work around, but it works out. I've been dabbling in dating a little bit myself, and I can tell you that in my experience, it's really difficult. But the hardest part is you have to put yourself out there. You have to go where you can be seen or on apps. That's really difficult. You have to understand that you needing time and space to yourself is just as important as anybody else. That's the first thing that you have to do. You deserve better. You deserve better than the way that you've been treating yourself. I want to challenge you to turn that statement around. How would you feel if you didn't think that they were too selfish? How would you feel, how would you act if it was actually you that was being selfish rather than them? If you want to learn more about the INFJ personality type, make sure that you sign up for my weekly email newsletter. There's a link for it in the video description. It sounds to me like what you're struggling with is lack of self-love, and I've dealt with that, so I know what it feels like, and it's difficult. But the best thing that I can tell you is to ask yourself, this thing that you think about yourself, is it true? Are you sure that it's true? And then the next thing is to say, how does that thought make me feel? And explore that for a while. And then think about, how would I feel if that thought weren't true? So I'll give you an example. One of the things that I think about myself is I'm not very pretty, right? I have that thought a lot because I don't have a lot of self-love. So when I get that thought, I think to myself, is that true? Is it 100% true? Am I positive it's true all the time? And the answer is no. I mean, every once in a while I'll look in the mirror and think, wow, I have really pretty eyes, or hey, my hair doesn't look that bad today. So it's not true 100% of the time. So the next thing is to think about, how does that thought make me feel? Well, it makes me feel really bad. It ruins my whole day. It makes me want to eat a lot more. It just makes me feel awful. And then the next thought is, how do I feel without that thought? Well, I feel a lot better. If I thought that I was pretty, then I wouldn't worry that much about how I looked. I wouldn't worry about people looking at me when I went out. I wouldn't eat so much. I wouldn't feel so bad. So then once you get to that point, it's up to you to make the decision. Am I going to believe that I'm not pretty, or am I going to believe that I am pretty? And it's really up to you. It's what you believe. If you choose to believe that you're not, you're just torturing yourself. So it's really up to you to say, I have that thought. It's okay to have that thought and to let it go, because it's not true. I've already proved that it's not true. I can let it go and I can believe something different. I'm choosing to believe something different. And it makes such a huge difference. It feels like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. I think it depends on the INFJ. If you like INTPs, then sure. If not, then a different type would be great for you. You can be with whatever type that you want to, as long as you're both mature, it'll work out. My skincare, it's called Instagram filters. It will perfect your skin faster than any kind of cream or wash or scrub. It's perfect. You don't even have to put on makeup. They'll give you eyelashes too. I know what you mean. I'm afraid of talking to people too, and I don't really know how to start a conversation, so that makes it really awkward. What I've done is found more INFJs through Facebook and Instagram, and then they get it. They completely understand. You can't change other people. You can't change how they feel about you. You can't change how they act towards you. So if there's someone who hates you for no reason, do you really want that person in your life? I wouldn't want that person in my life. I don't want to be around somebody who would hate me just for no reason. So your purpose comes from your pain, not physical pain, but emotional pain. What's the worst emotional pain that you've been through in your life, and how did you get through that? You can help people get through that. I have a free guide that you can swipe up to download that will help you. The best thing that you can do is to put yourself out there more, to build up your own confidence. Just little by little, do things that challenge you and stick to them. Show yourself that you can be a little bit more outgoing. I'm not sure I understand your question. I've never heard anything about INFJs being a real alpha, so I don't know. Maybe send me a link, and I'd love to do some more research on it. I had the same fear of being ordinary for a long time, and now one of the things that I really, really want is just to be ordinary, just to be normal, just to have a regular house with a regular husband and regular kids. It's also difficult for me to get away from other people's feelings, and the only way that I can do that is to get away from other people and spend time by myself. That will help me separate myself from their feelings, and then I'll feel better after that. I've been through this a few times, and I know how incredibly difficult it is, but the best thing that you can do is to focus forward. Focus on the future. You can't change the past. So what goals do you have for the future? What new thing are you going to do? What kind of speaking do you want to do? That's the kind of practice that you need to get. If you want to speak in front of large groups of people, you need to figure out how to get in front of large groups of people. If you want to speak on video, make more videos. If you want to speak in front of small groups of people, when I'm lonely, I try to connect with more of my friends. I don't really do that very much. So when I'm lonely, that's usually where I start. Just try and have coffee or dinner or something with them. I don't know if it's common, but it's certainly possible. And it's also possible to learn behaviors from them that they may not be inherently a part of your personality, but because your parents did them, you pick up on them. So maybe that's... I don't think that INFJs are like inherently charming, like that's a part of our personality, but I think that we can be charming. I like to think that I'm charming. If people understand my sense of humor, then I can be charming. If they don't, the reason that you struggle with self-love is because you came from a narcissistic relationship. And more than likely, that's your parents, unfortunately. Somebody was telling me the other day that something like 50% of people come from a narcissistic family. So struggling with self-love, it's not just an INFJ problem, it's a lot of people's problems. But there's a lot of things that you can do to work around it as well. The first thing that I would suggest that you do is, I did an interview with Ross Rosenberg, who is a psychiatrist who studies self-love deficiency, is what he calls it. So he talks about where it comes from, why your parents have it, and how to get past it. So you can swipe up to watch that video. The next thing that I would tell you is to start with acceptance. That's the biggest thing that's helped me, is accepting myself and showing myself a lot more grace and compassion. I don't believe our personality changes. I think that different functions that we have can become more developed, but I don't think our core personality changes. Maybe you mimicked a different personality when you were younger and now you're just coming in. Personality types are not related to zodiac signs. I know a lot of people want to connect it, but in my experience, they're not related at all. I did a video about it for YouTube, so you can swipe up to watch it. Yeah, for sure you can. Just because you're an INFJ doesn't mean that you're silent and rude all the time. When I go to the grocery store or to restaurants or things, I'm usually very friendly. I want the people around me to feel good and to feel happy. I'm not sure exactly what you mean with your question. I don't compare myself to Jesus because I feel like I'm a long ways from that. And I also don't compare myself to Hitler because I want to be a really long ways from that. So I guess I don't know. The best way to stop overthinking about anything is to take action. So you have to ask yourself, why are you overthinking about this person? Can you talk to them? Is it something that you need to get away from them? How do you take action? I don't know why it is that you crave attention. I hardly ever crave attention. I don't like to be the center of attention. I don't like to have to talk to a bunch of people at one time. So I'm not certain. I don't know about telepathic, but every time I speak to another INFJ, there is a very deep level of understanding because we just get it. You know, we have the same way of thinking about things, and it just makes sense. Instead of trying to stop feeling it, I would encourage you to think about why you feel that way. Why do you feel like you need sympathy? Do you need attention? And why do you feel like you need attention? What's the feelings behind that? I think the best thing that you can do is start with acceptance. A lot of times we focus on improvement, and you may not really need that much improvement. You need to start with acceptance and grace and compassion for yourself first. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really needed that this morning too. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you check out these other amazing videos that I have that are all about INFJs, INFJ traits, the INFJ personality, everything that you want to know about INFJs. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button as well so that you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching again, and we will see you again soon.